Hello, good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Good evening, ma'am. Audible.
All right. So, आज टिके लेट हो गलानी already, तो हमें start करवा class, okay? तो last class जो ना doubt पच रहे थे about the postulates that Merton disagree with in terms of functionalism. क्या पच रहे थे लोगी? Last class के जो ना पच रहे थे I guess. हम कही थी starting class starting rate अब की तब हमें rest of the class को continue करवा. Okay. तो के पच रहे थे last class? थर्ड पोस्टुलेट रे की कोठे गोटे डाउट थिला बोली कि जने पचरे थिलंती इंडिस्पेंसिबिलिटी रे कि पचरे थिले बधे पे जॉइन करना हंती एनीवेज बाकी सबे थरे देखि दमु शॉर्ट एंड सिंपल सेटा सब बुझेबी तो मोर रिवीजन कला भलिया भी हिजबो हला तो लेट मी शेयर माय स्क्रीन फर्स्ट my screen is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So kali class रे मु कहिथिली that although Merton is a functionalist, okay, he's a structural functionalist basically, but still he used to disagree with some ideologies and some perspective of the early functionalist, okay, early functionalist रे तमरो नेम कहिथिली मु गोटे टैलकट पार्सन तापरे मेलिनोस्की बोली गोटे कहिथिली मेलिनोस्की विषय रे तमे स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन तापरे इंडियन सोसाइटी रे भी तांकर टिके रेफरेंस आसीबो हला सेटा आगु पड़िबो. All right, so Parson, Malinowski, these are all what they are social anthropologists. तांकर टिके anthropology रो भी background रोची. Okay, these are the early functionalists. Now why he was disagreeing with them is that they only focused on the positive aspect of the society. Okay, they only focused on the positive function and everything positive of the society, and they said that whatever is happening in the society is for the benefit of the individuals, right? But Merton said that it is not that way. There is some negative as well. There is some negative consequences of the functions and norms and values of the society, right? So he basically disagreed with this early functionalist through these three postulates. Okay, so first postulate is the postulate of functional unity of society. Okay, so what is this trying to say is जितकी भी cultural social beliefs अच्छी society रे, okay, it argued that all standardized social and cultural beliefs in the society are functional to society as a whole and the and to the individuals. So basically whatever functions and cultures and belief we have in the society, they have a functional role, and what they do is they work to work in social unity and to ensure social solidarity. But Merton disagreed with it. Merton said it is not like that always. Okay. एठी मु जेंति कि रिलीजन विषय रे नेची. Merton said that religion can be fine. Religion can work fine in a very small or primitive society when it comes to bring social solidarity and social unity. But it might not work in the same way in this today's complex world, today's complex society. How? तमे डरखाइम पढ़ला बेले गोटे कॉन्सेप्ट सुनिथिबो about collective effervescence. Okay, how through religious rituals and religious values we try to gain a consciousness together, and that sort of integrates us as a members of society. Say concept ko amu deeply jibini, but usually functionalists like Durkheim and others said that religion plays a very crucial role in integrating and uniting the members of the members of the society, right? But Merton disagreed with it. He said, with this complex society, this is not the same. If a tribal society देखिबो, they are very rooted towards their cultural beliefs and practices. तांको ପାଇଁ तांकर religion, तांकर जो practice and तांको culture गोटे बहुत important part of their identity itself. Whereas in today's society, modern society को जहाँ हमें mainstream society को देखिबा, it is not that way. कौन होची? In the mainstream society, you will see basically people use religion as a tool to manipulate and to divide people and create riots in the society. Yes or no? We are seeing how especially political parties, they use the Hindu Muslim and this communal angle into every topic. Whenever there is something very important being questioned to the question about the government, they will start divert the masses into a very religious angle. तो से मने कोन हो से हिंदू मुस्लिम कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है कि से गोटे रिलीजियस एंगल ले पळेबो जहाँ आमर मेन फोकस थिला सेठु हम कहूछु डाइवर्ट हो जाउछु एंड आल्सो दिस इज क्रिएटिंग रायट्स एज वेल एज इट इज डिवाइडिंग पीपल. This is disintegrating the society or not. So this is what Merton highlighted, that all the functions, values, norms of the society not necessarily have a positive function. It can also have a negative consequences. This is what the first postulate means. Second postulate is the universal functionalism. Basically eta kono kochi सबू जहाँ भी social और cultural norms अच्छी, it is not universally applied. Okay, all social cultural norms, okay, it cannot be applied universally, and this thing varies from one society to another society. Simple example, when we greet someone in our Indian society or in our Asian society in general, we try to bow forward and we greet them, right? Whereas in Western society, they will greet each other by hugging, right? This is, they hug each other and they greet. Now do the same thing coming to India, you will get a slap, right? But obviously India रे urban areas रे एतके एटा माने गोटे टैबू हिसाब रे देखा जायनी, but mostly टिके rural background को पळे आसीबो, tier 2 cities को पळे आसीबो, people do not usually like this kind of way of greeting. So you will see in this same we can say the same culture, hugging culture is very much justified in the Western society, but when it comes to Indian society or other Asian countries, this is something we don't really justify or approve of, right? So your early functionalist, basically they used to argue that all social norms and cultures and values can be universally applied, but Merton said that it cannot be applied universally. It differs from one society to another. Okay, and last but not the least is the indispensability, that there are some standardized norms and rules in the society and they cannot be, they are indispensable. Indispensable means without them you cannot function, but it is not that way, right? जेमती कि एठी मु एग्जांपल नेची about your same sex marriages. According to the typical or traditional society, in society in general कोन marriage होची, marriage kaha bhitere hochi, with male and a female. It is a conjunction or a bond that is done through some rituals, cultural processes, and you form this complete the process of marriage, and it happens only between a male and a female. But as the society is progressing, we now have the concept of same-sex marriages. Yes or no? We now have the concept of live-in relationship. So this is a standardized way. You can say this is a standardized way of what society pursue marriage about. That there should be marriage between a male and a female. But now this thing is changing as the society is progressing. right? Similarly ଆମେ ଆଉ ବି example ନେଇ ପାରିବା कि କିଛି example ଦେଇ ପାରିବ of this indispensable
family
family रे केंती
ମାନେ family ର ମାନେ main to give ମାନେ starting phase ରେ child ର ମାନେ ତାକୁ ପ୍ରିଲିମିନାରୀ ଏଜୁକେସନ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଦଉଥିଲେ ବଟ୍ ଏବେ ପ୍ଲେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ମାନେ ସବୁ ଡେଭଲପ ହେଲାଣି।
अच्छा एटा तुम से प्रोसेस ऑफ सोशलाइजेशन को इथु इंक्लूड कर दोचो।
अच्छा ओके
देखो फैमिली रो कोन हबो आगो फैमिली रे कोन थिला फैमिली कंप्राइजेस ऑफ योर फादर
and
मदर
mother
एंड किड्स but now
nuclear
you will
family
yes
to take care of the child they depend on the nanny and other
babysitters right yes that is
babysitters
again a new concept तो आगो जोड़ा फैमिली रे थिला that it comprises of mainly father mother and kids now we have the concept of single parents earlier it was said that it is the role of the parents to take care and nurture the kids now we have babysitters why the society is progressing it is developing both the parents are now engaged in their jobs so they don't really get much time to nurture and play with their children or take care of their children so they hire babysitters so Merton basically did not agree with this attitude this indispensable attitude of functionalists that whatever social norms are there they are standardized and they cannot be changed. Merton said it can change, it will adapt as the society progress. There are always an alternative. Got it? So this is what basically your
Ma'am,
three postulates is all about. Yes.
ma'am, can you take communalism as an alternative to religion?
Communalism as in how? Communalism केंती तमे religion रो alternative नबो. ठीक है elaborate करो. Yes, ठीक है elaborate करो. के रश्मिता पचरे थिलो ना?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ तो टिके elaborate करो मु टिके माने catch करि पारुनी माने केंती नबो. देखो कम्युनलिज्म माने कोन व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय कम्युनलिज्म
Madam, equality in a
No class.
society is known as communalism.
कोन author repeat is
There
author
should
टी
not
repeat
be any class between individuals.
ना सेटा कम्युनिज्म हे वाला एटा
Ma'am.
कम्युनलिज्म कहउचंती से
Ma'am, communalism is a political
Ma'am.
philosophy.
Political philosophy yes and what
Roots in our culture and society, like political party is play.
basically communalism रो कोन होची कि one religion or one community go against another religion or community they start to feel superior about themselves right तो आमे religion को गुटे sorry communalism को गुटे religion रो alternative नहीं पारिबानी because this communalism is branching out of religion only and it is like a main basis of it main foundation of it so it cannot be an alternative as per me this is what I would say
Yes,
okay
ma'am.
okay any more doubts तो ए थ्री पोस्टुलेट्स बुझा पड़ला तो थ्रू एटा फंक्शनलिस्ट रो तीनटा पोस्टुलेट्स हला तांकर तीनटा बिलीफ बेसिकली दिस इज हाउ सोसाइटी इज meant to be and this is how we believe about the society how we perceive society and these three postulates are what Merton didn't agree about. ଆଉ ସେ ଜିନିଷକୁ further explain କରିବା ପାଇଁ ସେ ତାଙ୍କର functions ତାପରେ dysfunctions ବିଷୟରେ କହିଥିଲେ। ସେ ତାଙ୍କର ସେ function dysfunction concept ଟା ଦେଇଥିଲେ। ଓକେ, ଏଇ ଜିନିଷକୁ further explain କରିବା ପାଇଁ why he thinks about these postulates in that critical way. Got it? This is basically the gist of the contradiction of other functionalist, early functionalists basically, and your R.K. Merton. So एथिरा ଆଉ କିଛି doubt नहीं तो?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, then we shall move forward.
Yeah, ma'am.
तो last class रे हमें conformity and deviance रे strain theory विषय रे देखिथिला, and I said that we will start with causes of strain. So we saw how strain is created when there is a gap between the
Goal and
goal and
କାଲି ଆପଣ କହିଥିଲେ there is a gap between goal and legitimate means. But
yes,
ଗୋଟେ
there is
ମାନେ ଦେଖିଲି ଯେ when there is a
Goal
gap
and means.
when there is a gap from between the goal and your current status ଏମିତି ଦିଆଯାଇଥିଲା ସେଟା ଠିକ ନା ଭୁଲ ଟିକେ କହିବେ
current status.
ମାନେ now the position in which we are and
अच्छा.
and our goal, the gap between this is known as, this causes the strain. ଏମିତି ଲେଖା
ହଁ,
ହେଇଥିଲା।
ସେଟା ତାର ଗୋଟେ aspect ହେଲା, ସେଟା ତାର ଗୋଟେ aspect, ଯେମିତି କି ଯଦି ଏବେ the gap between your current position and the thing that you want to achieve, as in
yes.
ତମେ ଏବେ poverty ରେ ଅଛ ହେଲା, and you want to you are basically coming from a very lower section of the society, and you want to increase your status in the society, right? So in order to achieve that you need certain resources and means, right? But as you are belonging from a very economically backward section, you lack that, and this is creating a strain. That is an aspect of it. Okay, which is correct. So strain theory re basically kon kochi, society has certain goals, norms and expectation, and you have to fulfill this expectation through legitimate means. Now when there is a gap between these goals, norms and fulfilling the resources and opportunity to fulfill these norms and expectation and goals, this cause a strain in the society. Now what are the causes of strain in the society? गोटे culturally prescribed goal ଆଉ गोटे actual structure, जोटा कि हमें काली already discuss कर सारिछु. Culturally prescribed goal जेंति कि हमें देखला American society रे कोन कहूची, American dream, जोटा कि that in order to be accepted in the society you need to acquire wealth. And how you can acquire wealth? Through your hard work, talent and skills and education, right? And if you are hardworking, if you are talented, then you will be rewarded with wealth. This is what basically your goal in the society is. And this is Merton study करिथिले तमरो American society को. तो तापरे actual structures रो कोन problem रोची, when the actual structure of the society, ठीक अछि, when the structure of the society is not giving you the means, opportunities and resources to fulfill these goals, जेंति कि एबे गुटे society रे disparities रोहुची ना नहीं, there is a section of society where people have the means and resources, and then another section of society where people lack these means and resources, and society is not able to provide them that. This is what Merton is trying to say. So basically it kono koila, actual structures provide the accepted modes or ways for reaching these goals. They are normatively controlled means to pursue the ends. So basically your legitimate means, which is your hard work, talent, education. Okay, so if society is not able to provide these things to the individual, then there will be a strain, and this strain will cause this strain will lead to some dilemma within the individual, right? ଆଉ ସେ strain को adapt करिबा पई MERTON देले केतेडा adaptive response, 5 adaptive response. Okay, basically जो strain cause होची in the society, your 5 adaptive response is the solution to it. Okay, so we lack resources, or we do not lack resources. Whatever your condition is, whatever your present condition is right now, according to that, how you are going to adapt, how you are going to respond, right? So adapt 5 types of adaptive responses. So इथिरे गोटे table देछि हूं which will be easier for you to understand. तो से 5 responses कोन हला? Conformity, innovation, ritualism, retreatism, and rebellion. Now last class I said conformity को छाड़ देले, बाकी 3टा जगह कोन हो? Anomic in nature. And your MERTON said that rebellion, okay, the rebellion is outside the realm of society. Okay, outside the realm of society. Now how you will understand? Step by step we will understand. So first is conformity. Conformity ro kono hochi? The individual is, going according to the norms and goals of the society. He is accepting that, and also he or she is using the legitimate means to achieve it. For example, what a normal individual ko nahi jao. Now you are in your class 10th and 12th, you complete your education, then you enter into a good college, you graduate from that college, then because of your own hard work and talent and skills, you end up into a good job, and as you have end up into a good job, you will have a good source of income, and because of this good source of income and you are in a good job, you have a good educational background, you will have a high status in the society. So here you are conforming with all the goals. Okay, तो तमर good income ही साला पर एबे next कोना हवा? You will find a suitable partner for yourself, you will get married, then you will have your own kids, then you will provide the kids with all the means and resources so that they can achieve the goals that society has set up for them again. So this is what you are basically conforming with all the goals that society has set for you, and you are using the means, legitimate means to achieve it. Done with conformity? Do you understand it? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next hela innovators or innovation.
मैम काली काली हमें गोटे डिस्कशन करथिले ना कि कंफर्मिटी रे डेविएंस टाइप कोन रहबो को माने को सोसाइटी अपन कहथिले आज कवर कर देबे सेटा जस्ट फॉर रिमाइंडर
कोन तुम वॉइस टिके कट होतला मझरा थर टिके रिपीट करियो कि? हेलो हां तमर वॉइस टिके कट.
हेलो
हां हां
एबे मैम आज टिके नेटवर्क फ्लक्चुएट होछ सो
हां हां कह.
कन्फर्मिटी विषय काली हमें डिस्कशन करथिले ना मैम गोटे डेविएंस को माने काली गोटे एग्जांपल ने कि हमें डिस्कशन करथिले कि अमेरिकन ये डेविएंस माने को सोसाइटी एक्सेप्ट करिवो डेविएंस रो गोटे ग्रुप अछि अपन कहथिले सेटा आज कवर करिवो कहथिले से जस्ट
हां that we will discuss in the end, and in the sense कि एटा जो strain theory रो 5 adaptive response रो end रे तुमको बुझा पड़िबो से जिंसोटा. ओके
आगे
okay. So next we are going to innovator. What is that? They are accepting the goals of the society, but they are rejecting the means. They are rejecting the means to achieve it. एथिरे तमरो एग्जांपल हि जिवो. I have taken Karl Marx, Pablo Escobar, scientist. Can you tell me why? के explain करिबा को चाहिबो. So here it is given that individual accept the cultural goals but reject or modify the means. Okay, reject or modify the means of resorting to unconventional or criminal methods. So kiଏ ଏଟା explain କରିବ why Karl Marx is an example here or why scientists are a example here?
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ କାର୍ଲ ମାର୍କ୍ସଙ୍କର ହେଇପାରେ ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରିଆଲିଜମ ଯୋଉ ଥିଲା ତାଙ୍କର କ୍ୟାପିଟାଲିଜମ ଯୋଉ ଥିଲା ତାକୁ ମାନେ ମାନେ ବିରୋଧ କରୁଥିଲେ ଅଲଗା କଥା, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେମାନେ ସେ ଜାଗାରେ ୱାର୍କର ମାନଙ୍କ ବେନିଫିଟ ଚାହୁଁଥିଲେ।
Yes,
ବଟ୍ ସେ
absolutely.
ଜାଗାରେ କଣ ହଉଥିଲା, ମୋନୋପୋଲି ହଉଥିଲା, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ ଚାହୁଁଥିଲେ ଗୋଟେ କନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଟିଭ ୱେରେ ଚାହୁଁଥିଲେ, ବଟ୍ ହଉଥିଲା ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିକାଲି ଅଲଗା ଜିନିଷ ହଉଥିଲା।
Yes,
ତ
correct.
ପାବ୍ଲୋ ଏସ୍କୋର କନସେପ୍ଟରେ କଣ ହଉଛି, ସିଏ ତାର ଯୋଉ ଡୁଇଂ ଟା କରୁଥିଲା ସେଟା ରଙ୍ଗ ହଉଥିଲା, ବଟ୍ ତାର ଯୋଉ ଚ୍ୟାରିଟି କରୁଥିଲା ଯୋଉ ପୁଅର ସେକ୍ସନ ପିପୁଲ କୁ, ସେଟା ପଜିଟିଭ ସେନ୍ସ ଥିଲା, ବଟ୍ ତାର ୱାର୍କିଂ ଯୋଉ କଲଚର ସେଇଟା ଅଲଗା ଥିଲା।
Yes.
ଆଉ ସାଇଣ୍ଟିଷ୍ଟ କ୍ଷେତ୍ରରେ ହଉଛି ଯେମିତି କି ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଆମର ଏଟମିକ୍ କନସେପ୍ଟ ନା ଯେମିତି ପାକିସ୍ତାନର, ତ ଯୋଉ ଏଟମିକ୍ ବମ୍ କ୍ରିଏଟ କରାଗଲା ଫର ସୋସାଇଟି, ବଟ୍ ତାକୁ ଏବେ ନେଗେଟିଭ ୱେରେ ମାନେ ୟୁଜ କରାଯାଉଛି, ମାନେ ଥ୍ରେଟ୍ ଆସୁଛି, ଯେମିତି ନର୍ଥ କୋରିଆ ହେଇଗଲା, ପାକିସ୍ତାନର ହେଲା, ତାକୁ
Yes,
କନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଟିଭ ୱେରେ
absolutely.
ୟୁଜ ନ କରି ଡେଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଟିଭ ୱେରେ ୟୁଜ କରାଯାଉଛି।
तो बेसिकली कौन हला एमाने जहाँ भी कार्ल मार्क्स रे जेंते से जहाँ भी थ्योरी देले he said everything for the benefit of the society, but society didn't consider or perceive him in a good light. जेंति कि तमरो किए देथिले से थ्योरी माने कहिथिले जे earth is not the center of the solar system but sun is the center of the solar system. किए कहिथिले सेटा कोन से साइंटिस्ट ना I'm not able to recall now. Galileo Galilei
गालिलियो
हाँ Galileo Galilei, right? तो से टाइम रे कोन थिला, it was mostly during the transition period from dark ages to the enlightenment period. Okay, जितळे माने सब आइजैक न्यूटन आउ गैलीलियो गैलीली, लियोनार्डो दा विंची माने धीरे धीरे इमर्ज करूथिले, right? So around that time he said सेतळे कोन थिला, the theory of divine rights, that kings and queens are the descendants of God and they are meant to rule here, and whatever the church or the religion is saying, that is sacrosanct, you cannot question it, right? तो सेतळे से कोन कहले, सेतळे से belief ta thila that we are the center of this universe and everything, all the other planets are revolving around us. But Galileo Galilei said the other way, but he said the right thing. He wanted to educate the society, but people really didn't consider him. As a result, he was imprisoned, right? So here they are innovators. Got it? Next is ritualism. Ritualism re basically कौन होची, you individuals abandon the cultural goals but continue to adhere strictly to the legitimate means. Okay, तो एठी typical bureaucrat सेज रो एठी एग्जांपल जोटा नेची सेटा रिट्रीटिज्म रे ऐड कर देबो हला, सेटा मो पर कहबी काहे की, बट फर्स्ट एठी एग्जांपल हला तमरो typical bureaucrat. Ritualism रे कोन होची, you are rejecting the goals but accepting the means. Okay, you are abandoning the cultural goals but continue to adhere strictly to the legitimate means. Your typical bureaucrat. How it can be an example? Anyone would like to explain? अच्छा, रेड टेपिज्म विषय रे सुनि चोबी? Have you heard of red tapeism? Anyone?
हाँ मैम सुनी मैडम।
What is red tapeism?
रेटिज्म माने जेमति कि माने गोटे जेमति हमर ब्यूरोक्रेसी रे अछि, तो से जगह रे तांकर मोनोपोली चले, किंतु से कथा गुडी अछि ना तांकर सिस्टम जो माने गवर्नमेंट सिस्टम तांकर मोनोपोली बेसी रहइबो।
मैम कॉम्प्लेक्स
फाइल जो
ऑफिशियल
कोन
कॉम्प्लेक्स
ऑफिशियल फॉर्मेलिटी कहउचंती,
यस मैम
ऑफिशियल प्रोसीजर. ओके, आउ के किछ ऐड करिवो? So red tapeism कोन होची कि it is will see
unnecessary rules and regulation
follow
create
करिबाटा, right?
हाँ.
Okay, correct. So red tapeism कोन देखिबो, mostly in your government offices it happens a lot, and your government system of India especially is being criticized for this. that they adhere so much with the rules and regulation. एते rules and regulation follow करिवे paper work कला बळकु जे तमरो decision making या फिर किछि भी execution कला बळकु सबो जिंस action टा delay हि जिवो, right? Things get delayed due to it. So this is called red tapeism. Now your bureaucrats, what they do, they completely adhere with the strict rules and regulation. Why? Because से माने चाहू नाहंती कि तांकर गोटे फॉल्स वे रे ना आसु आ किछि गोटे फॉल्स केस रे से माने you know associate hi janti. So they want to play safe, so they try to adhere strictly with all the rules and regulation. सेथिरे कोन होची, they are abandoning the cultural goals. Cultural goals iti kono, you want that your society need to prosper, you want that your society need to grow and develop. Now if you are taking so much time for decision making and execution of a project or anything or a policy, it is delaying the process of the entire development of the society or not. So ritualism re tomoro typical bureaucrat ro example asibo. Okay, now last one is fourth one is your retreatism. Here individual reject both the cultural goals and the institutionalized means, often withdrawing from societal expectation. For example, alcoholics, drug addicts, vagrants, etc. So can you tell me about it? Our sage example moiti kainki neli. Retreatism re tome reject kar docho, okay? Goals also and means also. Sage ro example ethile ki mo कहली retreatism re बेसी suitable हबो because who are sage? sadhu santha, right? Sadhu santha, aghoris. So these people are devoid of all the desires, societal desires, worldly desires, and goals and expectation and everything. They do not take that into consideration, and they completely go towards a different way of what usually society perceive that this is the legitimate way of doing things, right? Aghoris jantiki example nejba, their rituals are very different than what your usual cultural rituals are, right? Semane bhasma re gadhive, they will not shower for days and days, they will be jatadharis, they will not groom themselves. This is not something your society approves us, right? So they are retreatist. And same goes with your alcoholics and drug addicts. They neither adhere with the cultural goals, not with the means to achieve the goals. So they are rejecting the goals and as well as the means here. So these are retreatist. Goals how means को जे reject कर देले. Last आसीबो तमरो rebellion. Rebellion are individuals that reject both cultural goals and means, substituting new goals and means in their place. Example, terrorist and Naxalite hedonist. How terrorists and Naxalites are rejecting but also substituting it with a new goal and means. Can you explain that? Can anyone would like to explain it?
Ma'am, Noxal are rejecting the political party in their area, and they want to rule in their area by themselves.
Ma'am, Naxalites, their ideology is basically to reform a new type of political system in that particular area. Basically, they want to violate the existing political area to break all the rules, regulation, and norms, and they want to replace those with their thought of
Their ideologies.
political. Yeah.
Their ideologies. So basically Naxalites, what they're happening, they want to break the present political structure and they want to reformulate and bring their own political ideologies into the society. And to do that, what they are doing, they are using an approach which usually your society doesn't approve. They are using arms and weapons, right? So their goals are very different than that of the what society is usually expecting you from, and their means are completely different again, right? So they are what replacing replacing it with new goals and means, which is why Merton said that they are outside the realm of society. This is something which is not social at all. Usually Naxalite, you will see they are very segregated in one part of the hills, right? So ସେମାନେ ଗୋଟେ segregated way ରେ ରହନ୍ତି, ତାଙ୍କର ideology ବହୁତ different, they are very deviant, we can say, and they're devoid of all the from the realm of society. So this is your rebellion. And same is your hedonist. Hedonist mane those people who say that they want all the pleasures in life. Okay, they only want pleasure, happiness, good food and everything good in life. Usually in life what it is, ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଗୋଟେ balance ରେ ରହୁଛି. If you have pleasure, you have pain. If you have your good moments, you have your bad moments. If you have happiness, you have your painful memories, right? But for hedonist, they want everything good in the society, and for achieving that good, they will take a very radical approach towards it, right? So again, same with the terrorist as well. For achieving their ideology in the society, they are taking a very radical extremist approach, something which is very different from your what socially usually society usually perceive of, right? So this is basically your 5 adaptive responses. So
Ma'am,
any doubt
can
in
you?
this?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in rebellion, can you take Afghanistan as example?
How?
Because they are rejecting all the human rights and have formulated like 9 years. They're in their country, to marry 9 years girl is legally yes legally possible.
Afghanistan no Taliban को तमे example नहीं पारिबो, पूरा Afghanistan तो नहीं, but Taliban as that particular
Taliban
group,
occupied areas, I think.
that you can take the example. Okay. Now एबे तमे theory बुझला परे कोण हबो कि तुमको multiple examples आसीबो mind रे, but you will get confused कि एडा कोथरे fit हबो exactly. जेंति कि मु एबे कहबी murderers और rapist कोथरे fit हबे. Will they be fitting in this retreatism, or where you would say they will fit? Retreatism रे fit हबे ना, rebellion रे fit हबे ना, ritualism रे fit हबे, innovation रे fit हबे, कोथरे हबे? Can anyone say?
Retreatism रे fit ହେଇ ପାରିବେ ma'am. I think so.
Why not in rebellion?
Rebellion रे they don't want to replace any ideology there. They are just committing crime and they are getting punished there.
ना, rebellion रे गुटे ideology establish करबे बोली केमति किछि necessary नाही. They want to do their own thing, which is very different than what the society usually is doing. Okay. So मो हिसाब रे तो rebellion भी ही पारिबो, retreatist भी ही पारिबो. And गुटे हिसाब रे innovators भी ही पारिबो, because they use criminal methods. काहेकि rapist रो कोन ideology कोन, that women should be in control. Patriarchal society अच्छी जेतु हमरो, women should be well behaved, women should be in control, they should know their limits. So they want to regulate the woman, right? So but say regulate kariba ପାଇଁ कोन करचंती, they are using a very criminal method to do that. So we can say they are your innovators as well. ଆଉ तमरा hacking retreatist ଆଉ rebellion रे यूज हे पारिबो कि नै? मु एठी hacking जोडा नै छी, एठी हे पारिबो कि नै?
hacking टा innovation रे जीवो.
innovation रे जीवो, ଆଉ retreatist ଆଉ rebellion रे हे पारिबो कि नै possible?
Reject means reject colon what goals को मैम goals can be positive negative sense रे भी जाई परिबो जेंती in the patriarchal society to control the women माने एटा तो negative sense रे
ने patriarchal society कोन कोची dominance of men and women are secondary, right? So in order to establish that or reinforce that, they are trying to regulate the behavior of women, but they're using a very criminal method to do that. Yes or no?
मोर goal रे टिके confusion होची माने goal should be positive, it should be in positive sense माने तो
हाँ नहीं तो मैं जा कोच सेटा ठीक तो एटा होची we can say is kind of drawback of the of your MERTON बहुत एबे तमे एटा पढ़ला परे once our class is completed तमे एटा पढ़िबो आ तपरे निजे एग्जांपल तमे चिंता करिवो हला you will find it very confusing to fit certain things into one particular category, that these are ritualists, these are innovators, these are retreatists, and these are rebellion.
Yes,
it can sometimes intermix as well.
You gave example of sage as a ritualism, but in the notes
Yes.
given as ritualism.
Yes. As I said, ritualism re bhi hei paribo, but it will fit more into retreatist. So tikke gute gray area pade aschi, right? Example dela alko.
So how can we segregate among all these you know types?
How can we?
How can we segregate all these types for a specific situation?
Yes, that is the drawback of the theory itself. Hela tankar criticism he gala ए जिंसो से गुटे बहुत ही सरफेस लेवल रे जिंसो उनको कैटेगराइज करले बट एंती बहुत हीनियस क्राइम जोटा ही गला मर्डर रेपिस्ट से मन को इतके कंसीडर करलेनी ओके एंड सेकेंडली कि जेतले गुटे इंडिविजुअल इज थिंकिंग वेदर दे शुड गो इन द वे ऑफ ए कन्फर्मिस्ट or if they are choosing to be an innovator or a ritualist or a retreatist or a rebellion, what is their ideology behind it? ସେମାନେ କାହିଁକି ସେମିତି କରୁଛନ୍ତି? Why they are doing it so? What is that they are compelling them to do so? What are the factors that are doing it? Right? So ଏବେ ଜଣେ choose କଲା ଏଟା, why they are choosing it that way? If I want to be a conformist, why I want to be a conformist? If I want to be a ritualist, why I want to be a ritualist? This thing your MERTON didn't really address. So एथिरे तमरो symbolic interactionist perspective पड़े आसबो. Okay. Individual attach meaning differently according to their situation. Okay. Individual attach different meaning to different situation according to their own subjective experiences. Right. So this dilemma while putting people or categorizing people into these 5 adaptive responses and not able to explain why an individual is being a conformist or an innovator or a ritualist, etc., is basically the drawback of this theory. बुझिलो? तो तमे theory भी बुझिलो, तार drawback भी कोन ही गला बुझुचो. I hope you are clear about it. So he basically gave a theory how, due to the strain, people are able to trying to adapt. And he gave 5 adaptive responses. So in these 5 ways, they are able to adapt with the strain. Now, why they are choosing this particular adaptation method or adaptive response is a question mark, right? This is a question mark. Now, this question mark will be explained by the symbolic interactionist. So, setki deep out, MERTON jai nanti. He left this for the symbolic interactionist. Okay. So did you get this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now coming to the criticism of this theory, that we have already discussed. Now, different goals. Critics argue that it wrongly assumes that a single system of cultural goals is shared by the entire society. As in, American society रे कोन थिला हम जदि American society को consider करबा because that was the basis of MERTON study. So American society रे कोन थिला acquisition of wealth. Acquisition of wealth is the goal, should be the goal of the people, right? But it is not necessarily that way. Not everyone in the American society want to acquire wealth. They want to have they can have some other different goals in their life. Their materialistic position might not be their only desire. They might want some spiritualist or spiritual values in their life, right? So seta differ kari paribo from person to person. So we cannot say that one single system can have a single or a particular or a standardized goals only, right? Then different responses. Critics point out that it has also failed to explain why some, here what I was saying, failed to explain why some people choose one response while others choose a different one. Why they're choosing this, right? Then serious crimes. Some have been pointed out that certain types of deviance, right, like your rape, murder, etc., has not been accommodated in his analysis. That is why I asked you where it can be fit well. तो मो हिसाब रे गुटे different ideology होची, तमो हिसाब रे गुटे different होची. So we clash there. There is a gray area. So he didn't really address this heinous crimes in his adaptive responses. Then society's reaction. Basically एबे जने conformist हे गला, जने innovator हे गला, जने retreatist हे गला, rebellion हे गला. एबे society कोन step नोची? What society is perceiving about this individual? एटा को detail रे MERTON तांको theory रे explain करी नाहंती. We can obviously see it through our or witness it through our eyes, but MERTON didn't really explain that in his theory. Okay, he missed out on it. Okay, जंती की Galileo example है ना, सेथिरे कोन हला? He was imprisoned, but MERTON really didn't explain why he was imprisoned. When he was wanting to do the good for the society, ताको imprisonment काहे करा गला? Why society didn't listen to him or didn't consider his views or give him a chance to explain his views and prove his views, right? So MERTON missed out on this aspect. Last about the concept होची तमरो differential association. Okay, differential association is given by your Sutherland. एटा थरे पढ़ो. I will be back in a minute. Okay, give me a minute. ठीक है, मैं चार्ज रे कनेक्ट कर दूची.
Okay, ma'am.
Current nahi. Anyways, let us continue. So basically, Sutherland differential association theory ru kono kohujenti that why some people, okay, why some people are attracted to deviant behavior while others are not. So this theory is devised by Sutherland to understand why are some people attracted to deviant behaviors while others are not. The variation in group involvements are known as differential association. He did not believe that contact with criminal is a necessary condition for a person to become a deviant. Okay, so what he is basically trying to say is, ebe tomaro gote friend circle achi. Okay, in that friend circle, you may have some of your friends who might indulge into drinking and smoking. Not necessarily that they are bad people. I'm not going into that direction. Tangor character wise no jauni, but I'm talking about their habits. Okay, they might be smoking or drinking. Got it? But being part of that friend circle, you are not smoking and drinking. Why is it so? Kahin ki anti? Right? So agents say that he did not believe that contact with criminals is a necessary condition for a person to become डेविएंट आ ए जिंसडा को मर्टन तांकर ए एडाप्टिव रेस्पॉन्सेस आ तांकर जो थ्योरी ऑफ फंक्शंस एंड डिसफंक्शंस रे एटा सबरे से देई नहांती ए जिंस को एक्सप्लेन कर नहांती जेंति कि आ गुटे तमरो फ्रेंड सर्कल रहला आ गुटे तमरो लॉरेंस बिश्नोई सुनिथिबो वेरी फेमस गैंगस्टर
Yes.
राइट सो लॉरेंस बिश्नोई रो मु केते दिन तळे गुटे तांकर गुटे एंती यूट्यूब वीडियो टे तांकर रिलेटेड गुटे देखुतिली सोच बाय मोहक बोली गुटे यूट्यूब चैनल अछि सेथरे देखुतिली so interestingly he came from a very humble background. Okay, his father is a constable or something, his mother is a housemaker. He used to be a very good student as well. He was very polite and he was a very innocent and nice boy. But after he went to university, he came in contact with some student union people, जो student leaders थिले आउ तांको सहित मिसिकी से तारो बिहेवियर टा चेंज कर दला फ्रॉम बीइंग अ वेरी obedient and innocent boy he is now a very well known and a wanted gangster in the country, right? So why this behavioral change when he is belonging to a group or coming from a society where he is coming from basically a very humble background, but still he chose to be a what एठी हमें कोन कहबा लॉरेंस बिश्नोई को कोठी कैटेगराइज करबा तमे कंफर्मिस्ट तो नो चांस सो इनोवेटर और a ritualist or a retreatist or a rebellion कोठी कैटेगराइज करबो
Rebellion.
rebellion retreatist हबो कि नहीं ritualist हबो कि नहीं मते तो इनोवेटर भी लागुची बिकॉज़ सी एबे जदि आमे सलमान खान रो एग्जांपल लबा he is angry with Salman Khan because he killed a black buck, right?
Yes.
Which is a very important totem for their Bishnoi clan. Okay, so he is trying to rectify the behavior of Salman Khan here, which is a negative behavior, right? But the methods that he is choosing to rectify his behavior is something which is not accepted by the society, right? तो मते हंती इनोवेटर लागुची तमे रिबेलियन कहलो सेटा भी ठीक. Okay, so now again we are in a confusing state कि कोथिरे से जीवो तो सिमिलर जिंसु सेटा ही Sutherland point out कले that Merton basically missed out on this aspect when he was giving his theory. Got it? The differential association theory. Any doubt? Differential association theory पर तमरो गोटे labeling theory अछि आ गोटे interesting. This is very interesting. Okay, so before any doubts म एटा गोटे picture तुमको देखौची. So ये picture देख के तुमको कौन लागुथबो who is this person? Okay, after you analyze you can unmute yourself and you can explain me. Okay, who might be this person? जहाँ भी तुम्हें first तुम्हें thought mind रे आसला जहाँ भी तुम्हें चिंता कर परछो.
Maybe this person from Korea.
Okay, he is from Korea.
I think so.
First हमारा identification हला he is from Korea. Okay, next आओ कौन?
Educated and well established, I think.
Okay, educated and well established. How? Character wise तुमको कौन तमे figure out करी पारछो? Character wise से लोकटा केमती थिबो? माने बेसी आउ माने सेकंड थर्ड दियोनी जहाँ तुम माइंड फर्स्ट देखला एबे ए लोकटा तुम सामने ठिया उची तुम कोन चिंता करबो कैरेक्टर वाइज?
Famous personality, maybe.
Okay, famous personality. In a good way or in a bad way?
That I don't know.
ना तुमको देखले कोन लागछ he might be
In a
famous
good way.
in a
First
good way.
impression is good way. Yeah.
That is your first impression. तमे first impression ही कहो हला second thought दियोनी. Tell me your first impression. Famous in a good way. Okay. So this is what you are basically trying to comprehend about this person, that he is from Korea, South Korea. Okay, you're right. He is educated, I don't know, but he was once in a time he was very well established, and he was also very famous. But now he is not famous in a good way. He is famous in a bad way. He belonged to a boy band. Okay, South Korea ro K-pop to tame jancho बहुत famous thibo. So he belonged to a very famous boy band. tar na kon thila Big Bang na kon odanti boli naate thila la. So he is the youngest member of that boy band. Now he usually K-pop idols ko kono tamko gute kaha jaye ki that you have to make an image that you will feel very approachable, very innocent, very playful to your fans. Okay, so say gute semti tangor pretense gute tangor sobole rahe. So after few years later he was convicted for conducting sexual crimes and for drug trafficking, drug smuggling, women trafficking, तापरे सेक्स ट्रैफिकिंग भी एटा सब भी से एंती केतेडा बहुत ही सीरियस एंड हीनियस क्राइम्स लगी से कन्विक्ट कराइतला एंड नाउ ही इज सेंटेंस्ड टू जेल. ओके, सो फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन देखला बळकू तुमको कोन लागो? ही इज, एज यू सेड, वेरी वेल एजुकेटेड, ही वुड बी फेमस, ही इज अ वेरी गुड लुकिंग पर्सन, ही वुड बी वेरी काइंड एंड एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा इफ यू हैव met him or seen him on TV or anything like that. But turns out to be a very different person altogether. There is a different person behind this look, behind this first impression that we create. So basically what we are doing, we are labeling. एटी तमे ताको काहे के लेबल कलो that he is educated and well established? तुमको काहे के एंती लागिला? Can you tell me? जे पॉइंट कहलो that he can be educated and well established, why do you thought it is like that?
Due to his appearance.
Okay, due to his appearance, basically his outlook, he's well dressed, he looks
Yes.
very smart, he looks very charismatic, we can say, right?
Mhm. Yes.
So this is what labeling theory is all about. Okay, we label people through their outlook, right? So basically a theory re kon hochi, labeling theories look specifically at the consequences of labeling a person deviant. Okay, labeling a person deviant, as in the sense, coming back to your patriarchal society again. Okay, in a patriarchal society, what usually is expected from a girl or from a woman or a female, or in society in general bhi tame koi paro, what is expected from you as a girl, as a female? What are the expectations of society?
To be in a certain way that people will admire us.
What is that ways?
To dress up nicely so that our body is not exposing.
Okay,
And
sober way of dressing.
Sober
Okay.
way of
And
They should talk, walk, laugh, and act in proper way.
okay, behave politely and in a proper manner.
Yes.
And so polite ରହିବ, you should be soft spoken, right? You should be soft spoken, you should not interfere when the men in the society are taking some important decisions. You should be dressed up very soberly, etc etc, right? The ideal कोन कहबा, सती सावित्री, संस्कारी झियो according to the society. तो तमे भल से जदी कुर्ता पिंदी की आउ पूरा एकदम शांत शिष्ट झियोटे, then society will consider that you are a very good girl, you are a good girl, right? But again, then there will be a girl who will wear shorts, okay, and she will have a very rough way of talking. She will rough in the sense कि she will be very blunt, queen of mouth and foot, जहाँ ता मन को आइला से कहबो. Au if someone is saying something bad to her, she will defend herself, right? तो सेंती टाइप ऑफ वुमेन को कोन कंसीडर करा जीवो सोसाइटी रे, that they are deviant, यार गुण खराब, right? I mean immediately सेंती कहि दो, but not necessarily like that. Because of her dressing, or if she's a little blunt while she is talking, or she's taking a strong stance for her, doesn't mean that she is necessarily deviant. But this is what your society is labeling her, that by her outlook, right? As I said, one girl who will be dressed up in a ethnic way, traditional wear, and one girl टिके western dresses पिंधुथुबो. आ तमे टिके आजिकाली रो टिके ट्रेडिशनल इंडियन सोसाइटी को टिके पळेबो, टिके माने टिके विलेज एरिया को टिके पळेबो, टिके बैकवर्ड थिंकिंग नैरो माइंडेड पीपल सामने तमे रखिबो आ तांको कहबो दुइटा भितर के बेसी भलो जियो. They will obviously say the one who is dressed very soberly or wearing something ethnic as compared to the one who is wearing something western. Eta usually outlook rahe, right? And this is what is labeling theory is all about. They look the outward appearance and try to label the person as deviant. Bujhilo? So basically, it directs attention to the fact that social deviance as defined by social norms is relative, and secondly, the role of those involved in labeling a person is as deviant itself, as an independent variable. Conflict theory argues that most society may have many groups which have different, often conflicting values. The strong groups in society have the power and authority to define the values of the weaker and the subordinate groups as deviant. So basically, this is related to your Merton's theory only, that kiye deviant, who is deviant and who is not, kiye deviant or kiye nahi, who is deciding this, right? Who is a deviant and who is not a deviant? Who is deciding this? Who is the person deciding this? According to the labeling theory, the society has some standardized norms and they try to label person on the basis of their outlook, and they label them as deviant. And according to your conflict theorist, what they are saying is bourgeois, basically the person who have power and authority, ଆଉ ଯିଏ ସେଟାକୁ ଏଥିରେ the weaker and the subordinate को ସେମାନେ ତାଙ୍କର deviant କହି ଦଉଛନ୍ତି, which basically you will see in the beginning of the chapter, where your Merton made an analysis through the criminal statistics that people belonging from the lower socioeconomic classes are someone who will indulge into some criminal activities. They will steal or they will indulge into robbery. तो एई जिंसटा को तमर conflict theories आउ leveling theory रो सेटा को काई एंती होची बोली से मने गोटे तांकर पर्सपेक्टिव देचंती. Got it? Clear about leveling theory and
Yes,
conflict perspective about who is deviant and not. तो एटा criticism कला परे कोन होची कि बाकी theorist माने कहउचंती that किए society रे deviant और किए नाही, who is deciding that, right? Who are the people who are deciding it? Conflict theorist कोन कहले, the people who are in power and authority, who have power and authority, basically the bourgeois is deciding who is a deviant in the society and who is not deviant in the society. Got that? Okay.
Yes.
So any doubt till now?
The differential versus the tourist, why are some people attracted to them?
You gonna coach, I guess. तो एतकी बुझा पड़ला तो
Oh man.
तमर लास्ट टॉपिक टा रहला रेफरेंस ग्रुप ओके रेफरेंस ग्रुप रे मु मोस्टली तमरो अंडरस्टैंडिंग पाई एस्पिरेंट्स आउ सिविल सर्विसेज ऑफिसर्स ओके तांको एग्जांपल लेकी तुमको बुझेबी हला जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग एटी तमे आउ भी examples नहीं पारिबो now what is a reference group okay so reference group is a group to which you always refer in order to evaluate your achievements your role performance your aspiration and ambition okay a group that you refer to evaluate where you are standing in the society where you are standing your current position in the society whether you are right or wrong so you use this reference group to understand the your standing in the society to evaluate whether you are right or wrong okay so you refer to this group now taro good example hijibo tomoro family is like a subgroup or a main group this group in general has a huge impact on you since your birth itself right you adhere all the norms and values you inculcate all the societal norms and values through the process of socialization and it is done mainly by your family and family is something you cannot choose or you cannot run away from your family is your main group and your family tells you basically that whether you are right or wrong they give you an idea about your aspiration your ambition they help you evaluate your achievements in the society right your parents will say देखे तार झियो तो सिविल सर्विसेज क्लियर करला तू काहेकि करि पारुनु you have to try you have the talent but you are not able to do that work hard के कोच सेटा तुम्हारे parents कोचंती your family is giving you a reality check basically right so family is a reference group here now family is a group where you are member okay you are member of this reference group okay so basically reference group is of two types गुटे हला membership आ गुटे हला non membership membership group माने जहार तमे already गुटे member जेंति कि तमर family non membership होची से group that you are wanting to be a part of so now presently jodi neba ame example as I said let me take the example of an aspirant you belong to the group of aspirant that is your membership group your non membership group is civil servants IAS IPS OS OPS foreign services forest services officers jaha bhi tomaro interest of service jaha bhi okay or the officer trainees this is the group that you want to be the part of or you aspire to be the part of so this is the non membership group itki bujha padla what is a reference group and types of reference group one is your membership group another is your non membership group clear
Yes ma'am.
okay
Ma'am, गोटे aspirant ପାଇଁ civil servant being an civil servant गोटे non membership group हे परियो but within civil servant सेटा भी तांकर membership group रे भी जीवो ना reference group
तांकर if you are a civil servant then that is your membership group because you are already part of that group right okay
okay ma'am
So now एटे मु लिखुची as you are an aspirant, you are inspired by this group called the group of IAS, IPS or officer trainees, right? This is like your main group, main reference group, okay? But Merton कहले कि life is very complex. It is not necessary that you will be inspired from a only, or you will evaluate or consider only one reference group. You can consider another reference group that possibly you don't want to be a member of, but you are inspired by them. जेंति कि तुम inspired by the IAS, IPS and civil servants, and you also want to be the part of their group, but there can be another group which you don't want to be a part of, but you are inspired by them. जेंति कि group of CEOs, sportsmen, then your influencers, okay, or philanthropist, right? So you might not want to become a sportsman, okay, you might not want to be a cricketer, you might not want to be a chess player, but you are inspired by the values and the charms of this social group or not. Jindagi recently Gukesh, who is the world champion from India, even though you don't want to be a chess player, that is not a reference group for you, main reference group for you, but you still is inspired by that person or not, even though he belonged to a different reference group than what you want to become. So this is what he basically said, that you have one main reference group that you aspire to be, and as life is complex, there is more than one reference group that has an impact on you. Now he said, what is the importance of this reference group? Why is the importance of this reference group? Importance is because of the concept of relative deprivation. Relative deprivation economics se padhithiba, I guess.
मैम टिके कोइ देथांगे
हाँ
सॉफ्टवेयर किछि कोइ देथांगे, मोते आईडिया नहीं सर.
अच्छा, तो बेसिकली कोन आमे एक कांसेप्ट रेफरेंस ग्रुप रो कांसेप्ट और रिलेटिव डेप्रिवेशन काहे कि पढुछु. एबे तमे देखिबो मोस्टली द मर्टन रो जेतकी भी थ्योरी बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट, गोल्स, अचीवमेंट ऑफ गोल, हला गोल ऊपर ही बेस करचंती सब. तमर सोसाइटी रे गुटे गोल अछि आ सेटा को तुमको अचीव करिवार अछि, आ से अचीव कला भितर तमरो बहुत एस्पिरेशन रहइबो, बहुत एडेप्टिव रेस्पॉन्सेस रहइबो, बहुत ग्रुप्स रहइबो जहा को तमे एस्पायर करबो टू बी लाइक दैट. ओके, सो इंपोर्टेंस ऑफ रेफरेंस ग्रुप, व्हाई यू नीड टू स्टडी रेफरेंस ग्रुप, बिकॉज ऑफ रिलेटिव डेप्रिवेशन. और रिलेटिव डेप्रिवेशन को बुझेवाटा सबुठु बेस्ट एग्जांपल होची फेमसली जो कहा जाए, शर्मा जी का लड़का, वर्मा जी का लड़का. शर्मा जी का लड़का बहुत ज्यादा इंटेलिजेंट है, पर वर्मा जी का लड़का इतना इंटेलिजेंट नहीं है, इसलिए वर्मा जी उनके लड़के को हमेशा डांटते हैं कि व्हाई यू आर नॉट लाइक शर्मा जी का लड़का. उसको देखो कितना अच्छा करता है, वो पढ़ाई में भी अच्छा है, सब में अच्छा है, बट वर्मा जी is not satisfied with his kid, is constantly comparing with it. Similarly, it happens in our society or not. We compare continuously with our friends group or within our neighbors, that see, he bought 2 cars within the last 5 years. I am not able to buy even 1 car. I only have a small bike. I wanted a Royal Enfield, but I have a I wanted a Harley Davidson, but I have a Royal Enfield, right? मो पाखे 4टा गाड़ी अछि, बाकी नम्रता पाखे 5टा गाड़ी अछि. I want 5 cars. मो पाखे गुटे SUV अछि, किंतु नम्रता पाखे गुटे BMW अछि. I want a BMW as well. So इडा कोन होछि, relative deprivation, you always feel that you are deprived of something. Societal context kochi, that you have a feeling of deprivation, you are deprived of something, right? Now if you are an aspirant, why you want to become an IS officer? What is the reason you want to become an IS officer? Jodi ame relative deprivation ko link kariba ethi, if you are an aspirant, then there are certain deprivation you have in terms of an IS officer. You are deprived from the power, you are deprived from the authority, fame, job, etc. hala, that this person has, an IS officer has. You are deprived from that. That is why you are wanting to become an IS officer. That is your goal, and which is why you have choose this as your main reference group, right? Bujhlo? So this is the importance of understanding a reference group, because in the society we have disparities, we have lack of opportunities at time, we have lack of opportunities and resources, which led to a feeling of deprivation. This feeling of deprivation cause strain in the society. Bujhlo? This is basically why Merton tried to analyze reference group. Okay, this is how you can link reference group with the rest of the theory of Merton, right? So being an IS officer is a goal, because in our society we need high status. This is what our society wants us, has set a goal, and for that high status we want to become an IS officer. Okay, and there is a deprivation as an aspirant. You have a certain sense of deprivation that the IS officer already have it, and you want that in your life. That is why you want to be like them. Got it?
Yeah, ma'am.
So say deprivation through kon hochi, again strain create hochi society re. Going back to the strain theory again. Okay, so ethire mu de dechi. Now he said that how you are going to identify whether you are a member of that group or not. Okay, there are 3 ways to do that. First, you need to have a general or frequent interaction. If now you are an aspirant, you belong to the group of aspirant, how you think that you or identify that you are belonging to this group of aspirants? Because you're frequently interacting with the other aspirant members, right? Ebe class vitre baki jaha soito tame interact korcho, they are also aspirants, right? So you're frequently interacting with other members of that group. Other members here, aspirant group. This is how you're identifying. This is criteria number 1. Secondly, how others are identifying you. This is how you are identifying. First, how you are identifying through general and interaction, and then how others re, people who is outside your group and people who are inside your group. जे aspirant से मने भी केंते तुमको identify करूचंती that you are also an aspirant, and people who are non-aspirants, how they are identifying that you are an aspirant. For example, तमे सब बड़े गुटे लक्ष्मीकांत बही धरी की बसथिबो, then you are an aspirant. Even though you are coming from an engineering background, you are studying NCRTs, you are studying sociology. That means say civil services ପାଇଁ बोते preparation तारो करूची, or he or she is a aspirant, civil services aspirant. बुझिलो? Third criteria टा कोन? Sorry, second criteria re कोन कि तमे केंती identify कलो. Third criteria others केंती identify कले, सेटा होची तमर third criteria, that you belong to this group. So टिके confusing, sorry मु कर देली. Second criteria रे तमरो members of that group केंती identify करूचंती, बले aspirants je bhi achan, rest of the aspirants, how they are identifying that you belong to this group. Third criteria re how others are identifying that you belong to this group. Got it? I hope it is not confusing now. So you are choosing this group very consciously, right? You are choosing your reference group very consciously. You are consciously deciding that I belong to this group. Got it? This is the criteria how you identify. बुझा पड़ला? जदि in case doubt अछि आथरे पछरो काहे कि ना मो एठी टिके कंफ्यूजन कर देली, टिके मिक्स कर देली से जिंसडा। तो
मैम मेंबर हमको केमते आइडेंटिफाई करिवे, माने से मेंबर ग्रुप मेंबर से ग्रुप रो मेंबर हमको केमते आइडेंटिफाई करिवे?
ग्रुप रो मेंबर आइडेंटिफाई कला को तमे फॉर एग्जांपल जंती मो एस्पिरेंट्स रो एग्जांपल नेली हला, तमे मु भी एस्पिरेंट जदि तमे केमते आइडेंटिफाई करबो? मते पॉलिटी रो बहुत बड़ा आर्टिकल्स मने अछि, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन विषय मते टिका आईडिया अछि, एनवायरनमेंट विषय टिका आईडिया अछि, आउ मु टिके यूपीएससी सिलेबस रिलेटेड कथा सब कहूची, तो ऑप्शनल विषय कहूची, एथिक्स विषय कहूची। तो सेडा कोन तमे जानि पाला, अच्छा सी इज आल्सो एन एस्पिरेंट, और से थ्रू तमे कोन मो सहित टिक कनेक्ट करि पारिबो। नाउ वी आर इंटरैक्टिंग विथ ईच अदर, राइट? तो से थ्रू रो करि परजो। जेंती गुटे एस्पिरेंट माने मेंबर ऑफ द ग्रुप तुमको आइडेंटिफाई करबो, सेंती आउटसाइड ऑफ योर ग्रुप से माने भी सेंती ही सिमिलर वे रे आइडेंटिफाई करबे। जेंती कि मो एग्जांपल देली अबाउट लक्ष्मीकांत, एबे नॉन मेंबर भी गुटे देखिले जानि पारिबो कि शी इज एन एस्पिरेंट, आ गुटे मेंबर देखिले भी जानि पारिबो दैट शी इज एन एस्पिरेंट, because you are studying polity, you are studying environment, you are studying sociology, different subjects which mostly are the part of the syllabus of the OPSC exams or the civil services exam. बुझलो? Got it? तो एटा तापरे मेंबरशिप ग्रुप हैला, नॉन मेंबरशिप ग्रुप हैला, और तापरे मर्टन कहले कि यारो इम्पैक्ट रेफरेंस ग्रुप रो इम्पैक्ट पॉजिटिव भी ही परिबो, नेगेटिव भी ही परिबो। Can you give me an example how it can be positive and negative? Any example?
पॉजिटिव सेंस रे इंस्पायरिंग माने जो ब्यूरोक्रेट्स असंती तांको इंस्पायर की प्रिपेयर
अच्छा,
कर
मु वेट अ मिनट, होल्ड योर एग्जांपल। मु थोड़े डे एक्सप्लेन कर दोची पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव रेफरेंस ग्रुप कोन। पॉजिटिव रेफरेंस ग्रुप and negative reference group. Positive reference group are basically the group which you see them in a positive way. You want to be like them. Tapare negative reference group is a reference group which you see in a negative way and you don't want to be like them. Okay, so now you can tell your example.
पॉजिटिव रेफरेंस ग्रुप ग्रुप ऑफ ब्यूरोक्रेट्स तांको देखि कि हमें वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर सिविल सर्विस टू बिकम लाइक देम, and negative Naxalite, drug addicts, criminals.
Okay, perfect example. तांको देखि हमें कोन, we are not seeing them in a positive light, we are seeing them in a negative way, right?
Yes.
And we are seeing how due to this drug addiction, the drug addicts are considered due to this drug addiction, how they are destroying their own life and the life of the people around them, and how they are creating chaos in the society. So we don't want to be like that. So membership group, non-membership group, or a positive reference group, or a negative reference group. Positive group is the one that you want to be like them. Negative group is the one who you don't want to be like them. And it is not necessary that one reference group that you consider as negative will be necessarily deviant or a criminal. Ebe ame छोटो थिलाले मोस्टली आम पेरेंट्स कोन कहबे, तू जदि पाठ पढिबुनी ताहले गाय चरेबु। एबे जो जे गुटे गाय चरोची, is he or she an deviant or a criminal? Not necessarily. but that is a group of people that you don't want to be a part of. तो एटा भी गोटे जिंस एठी मने रखिथबो that they are not necessarily deviant or a criminal, but something you don't want to be a part of or you don't see in a positive way. Got it?
सोशल मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंसर भी हे पारे माने पर्टिकुलर माने करी के
हाँ
माने
एतडा सोशल मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंसर जाको तमे गोटे नेगेटिव वे रे सेडा तो अगेन दैट इज वेरी सब्जेक्टिव, राइट?
हाँ हाँ यस माने माइक्रो लेवल रे इंडिविजुअल पे डिपेंड करिवो ना सेट.
यस. सो एठु गोटे भल जिंस मते मने पकेलो. रेफरेंस ग्रुप इज द micro approach of Merton. As in the beginning of the class we studied that his theory is known as the middle range theory because he has tried to balance both macro and micro perspective. जदि strain theory तांकर macro approach होची. Strain theory is the macro approach. Then reference group is the micro approach here, okay? Then another one is your anticipatory socialization. इट्रे मु ऐड करिछि बदे मते मिलुनी एबे कोथरे तो ऐड करिछि एटा. Anyways, आ गुटे अछि anticipatory socialization. मु एठी लिखि दोछि. Notes रे ऐड हिछि. I am not able to find it right now. I will not waste time also. Anticipatory socialization माने कोन बुझिछो?
Like we are anticipating to become like someone.
Okay. So how you are going to do that? तो से प्रोसेस रे कोन होची? एटा गुटे पार्ट ठीक करो that we want to we are anticipating to being like someone. Now what is the socialization aspect of it?
Ma'am, we are aspiring to adapt to their lifestyle and their thinking.
Yes, perfect. So mostly as an aspirant तुमको कहा जाए that think like a bureaucrat. Yes or no? So basically anticipatory socialization is that before you belong to a group you start to behave that way. Okay, गोटे group को तमे you're not the member, you aspire to be the member of that group, but even before being the part of that group तमे कोन करिवो तांको एंती behave करिवाटा start करिवो. Okay, जेंति कि तमे as I said think like a bureaucrat. आंसर लिखला बेलकू गोटे bureaucrat या फिर गोटे ऑफिसर केंती आंसर देबो तमे से हिसाब रे आंसर लिखिवो. इंटरव्यू देला बेले गोटे ऑफिसर माइंडसेट रे तमे भीतर को जिवो से हिसाब रे तमे रिप्लाई करिवो जहा भी तमर आंसर अछि. सो think like a bureaucrat, or we can say fake it till you make it. So before you be the part of that group you start to behave like that, like the people of that group. Okay, before even you become the part of that group you start to behave that way. So ebe aspirant ro example lele, why you want to think like a bureaucrat एंती काहे की होची? why you are doing this anticipatory socialization? तमर चालीटा चेंज हि जिवो, तमर माइंडसेट चेंज हि जिवो, तमर वे ऑफ टॉकिंग चेंज हि जिवो. You are behaving like a bureaucrat, you are thinking like a bureaucrat. Why?
Because when we get that position then we can think diversely, or we can
So basically what Merton is saying, an individual behave in this way or follow the process of anticipatory socialization, as you said, it will help in adjusting. Okay, it will help the individual in adjusting with that group once he or she becomes part of that group. थोड़े तमे एबे ब्यूरोक्रेट ही जिवो या फिर सिविल सर्विसेस रे तमे जॉइन करबो तो से ग्रुप रे एडजस्ट करिबा पाई या फिर सेतरे तमरो एक्सेप्टेंस ता इंक्रीज ही जिवो. You already have that bureaucrat like attitude, so your acceptance will increase and you will be easily able to adjust with that group. Okay, so you will be able to adjust and you will be accepted easily in that group. Okay, so this is what anticipatory socialization is with reference to your reference group. Now गुटे तो ग्रुप है एटे तमे आपको इंडियन सोसाइटी रे पढ़ला बेलकू कास्ट सिस्टम रे संस्कृताइजेशन बोली गोटे कांसेप्ट अछि. ओके, संस्कृताइजेशन विषय रे पढ़िबा हाउ पीपल बिलोंगिंग टू द लोअर कास्ट they used to behave and pretend like the Brahmins basically or the upper caste so that their acceptability in the society will increase. So eta would example tame anticipatory socialization re nei paribo. Okay, so here their reference group is what? Lower caste kunele tango reference group he jibo upper caste and they want to be like them, that is they want to aspire to be like them, so they will follow the process of an anticipatory socialization जोड़ा को तमे संस्कृताइजेशन बोली गुटे अच्छी कांसेप्ट आपको पड़िबो हला सेतळे सेटा देखिबा. So Merton said that this anticipatory socialization work only in an open system. आज ये टॉपिक ता सरेबा तो टिके क्लास एक्सटेंड हेले चलिबो तो.
Yes ma'am.
तो एटा लास्ट पार्ट जस्ट लास्ट तब लास्ट आउट ये क्रिटिसिज्म अछि सेटकी सॉरी की विल डू. ओके, so he said that Merton said that anticipatory socialization can only happen in an open system. Open system in the sense where there you will have a chances of social mobility. Now UPSC is an exam where people irrespective of their background all can appear in the exam. There is only an criteria that you should be a graduate from a deemed university or an affiliated university, right? You should be a graduate. Okay, so what it is happening, this is an open system where you are getting a chance. Even if you are coming from an economically backward class, you are having an option to appear for the exam. Okay, ता थ्रू रो कोन होची तुमको EWS कोटा तबरे रिजर्वेशन सिस्टम रे सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिकली बैकवर्ड क्लासेस को भी पुश मिलुची गुड स्कोप मिलुची. So using that also they can have a chance to approach their goal and become the part of their reference group. Yes or no? Right. And he said this cannot be able to happen in a closed system. So open system re possible habo anticipatory socialization, closed system re possible haboni. Closed system he jauchi tomar caste. Caste system is very rigid. There is no scope of mobility. In the sense, no matter how much you try to indulge or inculcate the practice of the higher caste, you will be still be the same caste only. So basically once a caste always a caste, right? तमे जितकी भी हायर कास्ट एंती हेबार कि तांगर प्रैक्टिसेस को अडॉप्ट करो, बट तम कास्ट के भी चेंज हेबोनी, तो सेथरे तुमको तमर रेफरेंस ग्रुप को रे इंक्लूड हेबार तुमको चांस मिलुनी. ओके, सो you will able to do that only in a open system. Now as there is a reference group, there is also reference individuals. Okay, reference individuals या फिर हमें कहबा रोल मॉडल्स. इथरे मु नीचे फॉर एग्जांपल some very common role models and role models, or we can say these are reference individuals. You will see many people in the society okay, reference individuals. Many people in the society, they look up to Shah Rukh Khan and Virat Kohli. They want to be like them, even if their reference group is very different. Some of you तमे IAS IPS जहाँ भी हेबा को चाहूचो, but still you will have a person or a individual who is very different from your reference group. Okay, might not belong to your reference group. He might be a cricketer or an actor. तो माने कौन गले? These are reference individuals. Now reference individuals have certain values or characteristics. Okay, they have that certain thing, something that makes them your reference individuals. Okay, or charisma, we can also say that they are charismatic. तो या छोड़ा तुम्हारे छत्रपति शिवाजी, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, he was a very charismatic personality. His ideals and values are something that people still are very fond of. So he is an reference individual. बुझलो? So this is all about your reference group and reference individual. इतने more detailed notes दे दीची. तमे थोड़े हेटा को देखी दबो. अता छड़ा किसी doubt हैला तमे मते कहबो. Any doubt?
मैम डिफरेंशियल एसोसिएशन थ्योरी टा टिके बुझी पारलेनी माने बुझी पार
Differential.
यस माने सम पीपल्स आर माने अट्रैक्ट होशंती डेविएंट बिहेवियर और माने अधा हो नांती ना
माने differential association theory कहूची कि
हाँ
even though you are contact with some criminal people,
यस
but why some are not adhering to that criminal personality? जंती कि मु example देली कि तमर friend circles रे केतेटा smokers और drinkers थिबे, but you will choose that you will not smoke and not drink. Okay, so you are being different from your friend circles, right? So that is what your differential association theory is all about. कि काहे कि even though people belonging to a group of individuals or a friend circle where there are friends who drink and smoke, but still they prefer not to drink. So it is basically a question that Sutherland is trying to throw out.
And failed to describe this, why some people are influenced by deviant and others are why not.
Yes, and basically he said that eta uda aspect hela joda ki Merton didn't address in his adaptive responses. Okay,
Did not. Acha, हाँ.
Merton did not address in his adaptive responses. Okay, got it?
Yes, thank you.
तो एटा तमर रेफरेंस ग्रुप रेफरेंस इंडिविजुअल लेवलिंग थ्योरी वाला लास्ट तमर क्रिटिसिज्म तो मु एटी पूरा डिटेल दे देछि 10 टा पॉइंट देछि हम केतेटा इंपोर्टेंट ता देखिबा जेंता कि फोकस ऑन लोअर क्लास क्राइम. ओके, जेंति कि से एनालिसिस रे तांको क्रिमिनल स्टैटिस्टिक्स रे से एनालाइज भी करिथिले इन द अमेरिकन सोसाइटी दैट मोस्टली पीपल बिलोंगिंग टू द लोअर क्लास कमिट crimes. So which is why he neglected the people who commit crimes from the upper section of the society, जेंति कि विजय माल्या टाइप्स लोग हे गले. ओके, से माने काहे कि टैक्स इवेजन करजंती या फिर माने दी फ्रॉड करी कि से माने कंट्री छाड़ के पळोजंती. When they are already very rich, they have acquired the wealth. Why they are doing so? So he neglected this aspect. Okay, then second is he was more inclined towards the American society. So तांगर स्टडी को American society रे बेस करथिले, and you cannot apply the same theory into the rest of the society in the world. American society is very different than the Indian society is. Indian society is very different than European society. आउ ए गुटे सोसाइटी को बेस करिके तमे थ्योरी को सब सोसाइटी रे अप्लाई करि परिबनी. Basically that. Okay, and he overemphasized on material success. Okay, about goals, about acquisition of wealth, ता विषय रे ही से बहुत फोकस कले. जेंति कि तमरो पर्सन रोल्स विषय रे कहिथिले, राइट? से रोल को फुलफिल करबा पई तुमको केतेडा ऑप्शन देबो सोसाइटी चूज करबा लागि. पैटर्न वेरिएबल्स, yes or no? Similarly, Merton कहथिले about goals. आउ से goals को achieve कला बळकू society तुमको केतरा option देबो. That is your what? Adaptive responses. So here you can draw a comparison with them. But here again, material success को basis से focus करथिले. Other aspect of an human being he neglected. Okay? He ignores non-economic crimes. जेंति कि मु कहथिली about rapists, about murderers. He ignored that. जेंति कि से मूवी टे बाहरी थिला तमे देखिछो कि नाही? सेक्टर 35 ना 36 कोन विक्रांत मेसीरो मूवी टे. He used to kill people and eat their flesh for his own pleasure. Okay, now ताको को भितर तमे पकेबो तांगो 5 adaptive responses रे सेडो अलगा लेवल रो एटा हे गला, राइट?
Psychopath.
They are like psychopaths altogether. Complete deviant. Psychological deviance हम पढ़ते ना 3 type of deviation. तो सेडा उड आसीबो. Then तमर overlooks on social learning and interaction. Neglect about gender differences. तो एटा सब मु दे देछि एठी ऑलरेडी है ना. एटा तमे थरे देखि देबो. This is very common thing that we already discussed. Main तमर कोन होची basically American society ऊपर तांकर स्टडी ता थिला तो तार applicability other society रे भी हेबाडा chances कम, right? Because society differs from each other. Then more emphasis on material success. He ignores the non-economic crimes and your focus more on lower class crimes. एटा सब होची important तांकर criticism. Additional criticism मु एठी दे देछि. तो आजि जेतकी आमे डिस्कशन कला का किछि डाउट? Any doubt? बुझा पड़ला तो सब रेफरेंस ग्रुप लेवलिंग थ्योरी तमे नोट्स ता थरे पढिबो तापरे तमे कनेक्ट करि पाइबो. ओके, once you will see the notes, I have sent the notes last class also. I hope you have gone through it.
Yes, sir.
The causes of strain कोन तापरे तमर रेफरेंस ग्रुप कोन लेवलिंग थ्योरी केमती हला आ गुड सेल्फ फुलफिलिंग प्रोफेसी ता कहिथिली. Self fulfilling prophecy is not included in your syllabus. That is why I have I'm not discussing in the class as well. But if you are interested, I can say it in short. सेटा ଗୋଟେ बहुत ही interesting concept है. जेंति कि सेटा basically कोन तमे गुटे assumption करिवो. Okay, short रे कहू छला. Very interesting. Something that we do frequently in our day-to-day life. गुटे तमे assumption करिवो about anything which is mostly false. सेंति तमे गुटे माइंड रे गुटे क्रिएट करिवो. से assumption basis रे तमे behavior करिवो. And due to that behavior, that assumption will turn into reality. For example, तमे गुटे छुआ को बारंबार कहूचो that तू पाठ पढुनु तो फेल हिजु, तू पाठ पढुनु तो फेल हिजु, एंती रिपीटेडली कहूचो हला. तो से तार माइंड रे कोन हबो, मु तो पाठ पढुनी मु फेल हिजिबी बोली गुटे रहि जबो त माइंड रे. तो धीरे धीरे से एंती बिहेवियर करि लागिवो. से टिके फोकस करि पारिबोनी तार पढा रे बेसी आ तार कॉन्फिडेंस टिके डाउन हिजिबो. से जिंस रे टिके ता कॉन्फिडेंस रे इंपैक्ट करिवो. तो ओवरऑल तार कोन बिहेवियर से जिंस को इंपैक्ट करिवो. ना कॉन्फिडेंस डाउन हिजिबो, भल से फोकस करि पारिबोनी स्टडीज रे. तो दैट विल इंपैक्ट इन हिज रिजल्ट. आ जोडा तो पाठ पढिबुनी तो फेल हिजिबो माने से लास्ट फेल ही वाला. दैट इज बेसिकली सेल्फ फुलफिलिंग प्रोफेसी. मोस्टली कोन तमे गोटे माइंड रे किछु गोटे एज्यूम करूचो गोटे जिंस विषय रे, तब ओवर एंड ओवर अगेन यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट इट and you are behaving that way and you make it into reality. Manifestation of concept ame tike link kari pariba that we are continuously thinking that we are an IS officer. मुडा IS ही गली, मुडा IS ही गली, मुडा IPS ही गली. ठीक अछि, तमे ता एंते बिहेव कला, तमे भल से पाठ पढिबो, सब तुम आंसर राइटिंग भलसे करूछ टेस्ट सीरीज भलसे देलो तुम इंटरव्यू पाई बहुत भलसे प्रिपरेशन करूछ तुम बिहेवियर रे चेंजेस आनिलो तुम माइंडसेट रे चेंजेस आनिलो and भाभी लास्ट कोन हो जिवो that will turn into reality. Although it is a false assumption that I am an IS officer, you are not an IS officer, but you keep on thinking that way repeatedly. You start behaving according to that assumption and you make it into reality. That is self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay. Very interesting concept. That is why I like the subject sociology. This is the beauty of that subject. You learn about everything that you do in your day-to-day life in a very theoretical way and in a very interesting way. Se sobu jinso hi conceptualize karai chi tama subject re. Okay, so got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I hope you don't have any doubt. Kichi jodi doubt rehla bola obviously you can ask me on Telegram. Nahale तमे एमती केबे भी जदि टाइम हला मझिरे माने गुडी डाउट क्लियरिंग सेशन हमें ऑर्गेनाइज करि परिबा सर को कोइ के हला
Okay, ma'am.
सो फर्स्ट तो मो नोट्स ता सेंड करूची तमे थरोली देखो मते लास्ट क्लास रे लेटेंट एंड मैनिफेस्ट फंक्शन आ एनोमी रो भी नोट्स पई तमे कहि थिलो राइट तो सेटा मो टिके कंपाइल कर दे मते टिके टाइम होने वीक टा टिके बिजी अछि मो सो आगे तो ए नोट्स ए पोर्शन ता शेयर कर दोची सेटा मु कंपाइल करके तुमको पर शेयर कर देबी ओके ऑलराइट
Okay, ma'am.
ओके तो ऑलरेडी 9:39 हे गलानी सो आई होप आज रो क्लास जितकी डिस्कशन कराई छी यू हैव अंडरस्टूड एवरीथिंग इन केस इफ यू हैव नॉट अंडरस्टूड obviously you can reach out to me you can message me on Telegram so let's wind up guys thank you everyone
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night.
thank you for your patience okay
No
Thank you.
problem.
Mm.